In the high-altitude desert of the Himalayas, a really serious water crisis was threatening to wipe entire villages right off the map. But the solution? It wasn't some billion-dollar dam. It was an idea so simple and, frankly, so brilliant, it's changing how we think about water, ice, and survival. So let's get into how this incredible idea actually works. This one quote right here from engineer Sonam Wangchuk is the key to this whole story. It's a little paradoxical, right? But it flips the entire problem on its head. See, instead of fighting a losing battle against melting glaciers, he asked a different question. What if we could control the freezing process itself? Now, to really get the genius of the solution, we first have to understand the problem. So picture this. We're in Ladakh, a cold desert tucked away in the Himalayas. This place is known as the third pole because it holds the largest amount of ice outside of the Arctic and Antarctic. For centuries, life here has depended completely on the slow, steady melt of those glaciers. But climate change has completely broken their ancient water clock. The timing is a disaster. In the past, water would arrive from the glaciers just in time for the spring planting season. Perfect. But now, warming temperatures are causing a rapid early melt. All this water comes rushing down when it's way too soon for seeds. And then, by the time the farmers actually need it most, the streams are totally dry. It's a devastating shift. This is a situation called water poverty, and it is an existential threat. I mean, when the water just disappears during that critical planting window, the crops fail. Villages are left with this stark choice. You either starve or you abandon the land your family has farmed for generations. The stakes really couldn't be any higher.
So how in the world do you solve water poverty in a freezing desert? Well, you engineer ice right out of the air. This thing is called an ice stupa, and it's a true marvel of what's known as frugal engineering, basically using simple physics to solve huge problems with very few resources.
And check this out. The whole thing works with zero electricity. It's so clever. A simple pipe runs from a stream, way up in the mountains, down to a village. Gravity does all the heavy lifting, building up this incredible pressure inside the pipe. At the very end, the pipe just points straight up, and that pressurized water shoots into the air like a geyser. In the freezing, minus 30-degree winter air, that mist freezes instantly, falling and building a massive cone of ice, layer by tiny layer. So why a cone? This is the crucial part. It's all about geometry and sun exposure. Think about it. A flat sheet of ice has a huge surface area, so the spring sun just melts it incredibly fast. But a cone is different. It has a low surface area to volume ratio. It basically shades itself, protecting the massive volume of ice on the inside. This simple shape allows it to melt really slowly and last right through that dry planting season, releasing water exactly when it's needed most. Now, an idea this brilliant rarely just appears out of thin air. It was actually an evolution, building on the work of an earlier pioneer. This idea didn't just emerge from a vacuum. It really stands on the shoulders of a powerful legacy. Way back in the 1980s, a man named Chewang Norfel, the original Iceman of Ladakh, created horizontal glaciers by freezing water into flat sheets in shaded valleys. And they worked. But, and this is a big but, they had a huge limitation. You needed a really high-altitude, north-facing slope to build one. Wangchuk's big innovation in 2013 was to go vertical. He proved that the cone's geometry was way more important than the location's geography. And this, right here, was the absolute game changer. By going vertical, they could now build these artificial glaciers right where the people were, at lower altitudes, right next to the very fields that were dying of thirst. They brought the glacier to the village instead of having to bring the village to the glacier. And the impact of this simple idea has just been profound. It's created these ripples that have spread from that one little village in Ladakh all the way across the globe. Just look at this number for a second. 5,000 trees. That's the kind of life-giving impact that a single large ice stupa can have. It can literally transform a barren desert landscape, all by creating a brand new source of water. But it's about so much more than just the ice. It's about reforestation. It's about reviving agriculture and allowing whole communities to thrive again. And here's a really smart part. By calling them stupas, which is a sacred shape in Buddhist culture, the project got deep community buy-in. These aren't just water towers, they're symbols of life and resilience that people are proud to build and maintain themselves. And you know what? The world has taken notice. In the Swiss Alps, they're using ice stupas to slow down glacial melt and support their tourism industry. In the Andes, they're helping farmers fight brutal droughts. And over in Central Asia, they're being explored as a tool to manage water resources. This idea from Ladakh has officially gone global.
But of course, it's not a magic bullet. The Ice Stupa is a brilliant monument to human ingenuity, for sure, but it does face its own set of challenges as we look to the future.
It's really crucial to remember this is an adaptation tool, not a cure for climate change. It still needs freezing cold winters to work, and those pipes need constant maintenance in these brutal conditions. But the future is in making them even smarter, like adding sensors for more efficient water management. It remains this powerful symbol of resilience, and it's proof that sometimes simple ideas can have a massive impact. Which really just leaves us with this final thoughts. The Ice Stupa is this powerful reminder that sometimes the most effective solutions to our biggest global challenges aren't the most high-tech or the most expensive. They're often born from local knowledge, a deep understanding of nature, and just one simple, brilliant idea. So the question is, what other solutions are out there, just waiting to be discovered?